morning, Father.
I always dread preaching this Sunday, and I'll tell you why. Because I think there's a hidden message here. I think there's a hidden message here that indicts me. Let me tell you more about that. What is the characteristic narrative we see in all three readings, but really mostly in the first one and the last one, in the Genesis reading and in the Gospel reading? It's a narrative about women. It's a narrative about the reality that women, quote, have been left to do all the serving. That's what Martha indicts. Women have been left to do all the serving. Why is it that we so long find ourselves, or for so long we have found ourselves, in a church where majority women attend, majority of women contribute, and yet, look up here, majority of clergy are not women. The majority of clergy are men. The majority, let me say that again. How many clubs where the majority of the attendees are not the majority of the leaders? The majority of people who attend church on a Sunday are women. And yet the majority of clergy who administer the sacraments to those attendees are not. And even in denominations like our own, and in faiths like our own, the independent Catholic Church, the inclusive Catholic Church, we still find this disparity. I'm going to take a second to tell you a story as you ponder what it means to do all the serving. I come from a church in Fort Worth, an inclusive Catholic parish, not dissimilar to this one, where when I started in 2018, we had a woman come to our church to attend. She was very faithful, is very faithful. She attended all the masses, she helped out every week, even started leading the rosary. Well, she decided she wanted to be in professed life. And I said, well, call her Mary. I said, Mary, why don't you just become a deacon? No, Father. Women can't be deacons. No, I can't do that. And I said, okay, well, it is what it is. We went on about our life, and she professed and continued to serve in this profoundly significant role. And over time, she did learn to hear a call to the diaconate. She did. And today, if you ask her, Mary, why weren't you in that role 2 years ago? She'd say, I don't know. I wasn't ready. I hadn't yet heard the voice. She had been left to do all the serving with none of the reward. She had been left to do all of the serving with none of the promise of the hope of the priesthood. And not that everyone needs it, but that some people do and are denied is a great tragedy. That some people are called and are denied is a great tragedy. You see, the pain in Martha's voice represents the pain for so many women and young girls as they are cast aside and educated to be in religious life. And there's nothing wrong with professing a life as a sister. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful thing. It's an option for me to be a brother. That was not my choice. It should be a choice based on our communication with God and our sense of a call. Mary Magdalene was good enough to be literally the first to proclaim the good news. You see, good news is the literal translation of gospel. The gospel is the good news. The first to proclaim the resurrected Christ was Mary Magdalene. The first to proclaim the good news of the resurrection was Mary Magdalene. She was called the apostle to the apostles. She, for the first 2 millennia of the church, almost 2 millennia, represented a distant aura, a distant past, that somehow in the past we were more ahead than we are today. In the first 2 centuries or so of the church, women could be deacons, not priests, although today we of course have that blessing. But they could be more than they are today. They could be the apostle to the apostles, but not a priest. And so what does that indict for us today? I always thought time moved this way, that things got better in the future. But we see that's not the case. We see with a recent Supreme Court decision, things can go backwards. Things can go backwards. And so we're called to leave the church not in the hands of one, to carry, to be left to do all of the serving. We're called to do it together. We're called to be ministers together. We are inclusive Catholics, yes, but women often still do all the serving with minimal representation in our movement. With that in mind, our challenge today is twofold. What can I do and how can I help you? And that's not me personally, although in some sense it is, but it's me as in all of us. What can I do individually? It's challenge my daughters, my nieces, my granddaughters, my sisters, my mothers, to find and hear the call perhaps they had at one time that was squashed, to re-find what God has said that the church told was incorrect. You see, when we leave one to do all the serving, it's easy to forget that they chose to do that. They didn't have to. And so I ask us, what can we do? This is the second part. First part is the challenge. The second part, what can we do as men to assist in that calling in others, in women? How can we assist? It's conversations, I think, is a big part. But let's work together. Let's not squash the call within others. I'll leave you with this point, and I think it's so pertinent. The story of Abraham and Sarah. It's a story about wanting to get pregnant. Perhaps we can relate in our lives. It's a story about infertility. But do you know who was blamed for infertility universally in the ancient world? Not men. Women. There's a reason that every story about a woman getting pregnant in the Bible who couldn't previously is always about helping the woman no longer be barren. We understand the science that it could be the man just as likely as it could be the woman. So in that same vein, that she was left to do all of the heavy lifting of the blame, of the burden, so too today the church has left women with the role of assisting in the church, but not leading it. And today I think we can make a step to change that. Would you pray with me? God, in your infinite mercy, you have provided us your priesthood. You have provided us roles to care for your church and to the flock of your church. We ask today that you would send your Spirit on all, especially our women, our sisters and daughters, who have heard your call, or who have not yet heard it, but they feel that fire within them, telling them there is something to this. There is something more to their faith, something different. Kindle in them the desire to serve however it may be, as lay leaders, as ordained, as professed religious. But remind us that their call is their call alone, and not our call as leaders to quash because of a gender. It's not our role to gatekeep the priesthood from genders or from any role within the church based on any gender. God, remind us of your love. Give us your peace. And today, we pray especially for our leaders who have made poor choices as it comes to the role of women and their rights. God, give us the grace to make the difference, to make the change in our church and in our world. We pray this in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Amen.